All right, hello everyone. So this is just a quick little video that I'm gonna give you with some tips and tricks on getting through that cluster feeding phase. You can do this in the hospital too. You have every right to, but you might get some little kickback. But even when you're home and they're going through some cluster feeding, I really encourage you to just do more research on co-sleeping, especially when you're exclusively breastfeeding, as long as you're not in any drugs or alcohol or anything like that. Smoking, definitely not. But there are some ways to save sleep. And when you're breastfeeding and it's like every hour during the night, this is kind of the only way to push through it. So I'm just gonna give you some tips and tricks. I cannot find my baby doll, so we're using Minnie. Okay, so basically what you wanna do is you wanna make sure you don't have a lot of big puffy blankets. We only have 2 pillows and things like that. So basically what you wanna do is just be nursing constantly during the night. So what I used to do with my kids is I would sleep, like if I'm on one side, so I'm way over here, the baby would be here and I would be side nursing. So you want to make sure their head is low enough, okay, so they're reaching up towards the breast. If they're too far forward, their neck's going to be kinked and they're not going to be able to drink. So I'd have them down here and I would latch and nurse. And I would be holding them around my arm, so my husband would be right here on this side and I would be able to feel them. Because I'm lazy and I did this a lot of times, instead of completely rolling over or switching, what I would do is sometimes I would just turn my whole body a little bit more and just reach the other breast this way and then hold them this way. And I would be nursing like this. So that's the way where you don't have to turn around, but you want to make sure you're always keeping an arm between your partner. This is a queen size bed. Some people have king size beds, even better because you have even more room. Some parents even feel comfortable about asking your husband or somebody else to be sleeping in another bed. We never did that. But I would just nurse all night, and this is the tip of you want to be having an arm around the baby, and then I would just, when they were done, I would face them up, okay? They'd be up right next to me, and my arm would kind of be around them, holding them away from my husband. So there was always kind of an area that I was holding and with them, okay? If you're not super comfortable with sleeping with them like that too, what we actually did, and it worked really well for me, and again, full disclaimer, this is just educational, I'm just telling you what worked for me, but we actually used the DockATot, and after I was done nursing her in bed, or even if I fell asleep against the bed like this, and she was like this, she would be sleeping, I would just pick her up, re-swaddle her, and we kept the DockATot right in between our legs, right here in the bed. So if we were underneath the covers, the DockATot was right in between, next to our legs. Now it's big and bulky, so there's no way you're gonna roll on top of it because it was closer towards the bottom of our bodies instead of up here. I would literally, her head would be this way, and then I'd pick her up and nurse her again, and then I would lay her back in the DockATot and go back to sleep. And that worked for us. If you have a co-sleeper on the side, that's great too. But while you're nursing, you can do that. Another great tip that I have is I would have on this thin shirt because you don't want a lot of blankets, right? So if I was under the blankets, let me show you. Come here. If I was under the blankets and nursing, want to keep them thin, right? You don't want the blankets up around their face. So if I was nursing Minnie, okay, I had that. I used to just lift my shirt up and I would be nursing, right? But then because I can't pull the sheets over me, I would always have like a long sleeve on. So then if I was nursing and holding on to them, I wasn't getting cold like the whole rest of my body. You know, we had summer babies, so we had the AC on, so I'd be like a little cold, chilly. So then if I'd be nursing, I'd have still something on my upper body and I would just pull shirt. See, I don't even have a bra on. I would just lift my shirt up and then I would switch. So that is also a really great tip. My last tip for you basically is keeping a lunchbox at your bedside. This is my #1 tip, especially with breastfeeding. Women really do well with drinking and keeping up with your fluids, but we do not do well with keeping up our nutrition. Now, I'm not talking that you need to eat healthy 24/7 because I didn't. This is real life. It's really hard. So I would keep a lunchbox right here on my bedside. I would actually keep my Spectre pump too because it had that little light on it, and that was kind of my night light. And I had a lunchbox, and I would have bananas in there, some cut up strawberries, some cheese sticks, some nuts. Sometimes I'd have a cold piece of pizza. I like cold pizza. And I would just snack on things throughout the night. So every time I was going to nurse, I'd take a few bites or something, or when they were finished and after I wrapped them up and I was about to go back to sleep, I'd take a huge slug of water again or a couple sips, and I'd eat a banana or an applesauce. I had those applesauces that you can squeeze. It's worth purchasing just so you don't have to have a spoon. So I would buy those and I would eat those, and I would have a bunch of snacks in my lunchbox at my bedside. So throughout the night, I'm eating and I'm drinking just like baby is. So you want to be able to keep your nutrition up so you have a good supply. You have good sugars for your baby, and you're feeling more energized because you're going to be up so frequently. So crucial to be keeping a lunchbox at your bedside for snacking. I say at least like the first, or 6 months or so, because you're always nursing, and then just keeping up your fluids. But those are my tips and tricks. So that's the best way to get through cluster feeding and breastfeeding. I can't say it enough to do your own research on co-sleeping, because it really can be beneficial, especially if you're exclusively breastfeeding. If you don't feel comfortable with it, that's okay too. But do your research, because there are other countries around the world, third world countries, they don't have cribs, they don't have everything else. They don't have any choice but to co-sleep with their children, like in a bed or on the floor. They don't have the things that we have here in America. So just understand that, and just know that we've been doing this for thousands of years, and we didn't always have cribs. So there are safe ways to do that. And this is something I can't explain, but I know some people are like, oh, I'm a very heavy sleeper. Okay, I'm one of the heaviest sleepers there are, guys. Like I used to fall asleep at my own birthday parties when I was younger. But you have this different awareness of your baby when you're breastfeeding. I can't explain it until you've done it and you know it. Like as soon as they kind of rustle around and they start to move, you wake up. Like you just have this sixth sense kind of them in your awareness and where they are while you're exclusively breastfeeding. So that's all I can say. Those are my tips and tricks, and I hope that helps you. And